It speaks well of her that she doesn't blame Lou. Crazy as that would be, plenty would. Population on Speranza is kept even by what Jay calls mild social and financial pressures, which means baby supplements when births are lower than they should be, and baby fees when they are higher. The rate for any given year is announced each New Year's for the next year after, so as to give everyone plenty of time to make plans. My mama didn't pay any attention to this, but enough people do that population pretty much does stay even. 900,000 people left Earth 125 years ago, and we're just under 1 million now. Jay says there are laws on the books for strongly encouraging or discouraging births, but they've never been needed. Some people disapprove of people who don't have any children, though I don't see it. They've made their contribution to the gene banks, haven't they? More people disapprove of people like my mama, who have 7 babies with 7 different fathers, 6 of them timed well enough that she can live in the ditch in reasonable comfort. By the day Meiju and I saw the crow, which was late in the year of the fire rat, I didn't live in the ditch anymore, though I went back there often to see Mama and the little ones. I got out of there through my own efforts, serendipity, and the redeeming power of ballet. Ballet is a form of dance done in partial gravity halfway up a strut. It's based on an ancient earth form of dance called ballet, pronounced ballet, which was done in full gravity, but used a lot of the same kinds of music and the same kinds of movements, but hampered by gravity. In ballet, you can rise off your points and turn 4 or 5 times in the air before landing perfectly back on them, facing the audience and gliding off again. When I was 11 years old, back in the year of the water pig, my school class got taken up the Newton strut to the Théâtre Coppélie to see a performance. It was Orpheus and Eurydice, and it changed my life. I couldn't speak coming out, I was so full of it. I could barely understand that it hadn't had the same transformative effect on my friends, who had found it boring, or pleasant enough, or mildly fun, the way most kids are when exposed to most arts. Only I had been enraptured. Some dancers don't like doing school matinees. They say the kids don't understand it and don't sit still. I always remember sitting there completely caught up in the moment, and think as I warm up that I will dance for that one child among the shuffling multitudes. Of course, once I knew ballet existed, I wanted to see more, and more. I wanted to do it. I wanted it in a completely different way from the way in which I had wanted things in my life up until then. It was as if I knew from the very first leap that ballet was mine. I wanted it with a fierce, burning determination. I knew nobody could stop me, and nobody could. I asked my mother, who was amiably bemused about the whole subject. She was heavily pregnant with what would be my sister Laura. My brother Lenny, just weaned, was constantly tugging at her for attention. I asked the teacher who had taken us to the Théâtre Coppélie, Madame Augustini, and she said she believed dancers started training at 7, and there was in any case no ballet at our school. I went online and found classes, all of them naturally at studios up the struts and way out of my price range. Undeterred, I started searching for scholarships. All of them were for younger children. Madame Augustini had been right that ballet training began young. I persisted with ever more esoteric queries, and that was when I met Jay. Jay was a metal dog, 2 years older than I was. That's nothing when you are both adults, but an eternity when you are 13 and 11. He couldn't have been more different from me. He was from Massima, near the head of Copernicus Strut, a neighborhood about as far removed from the ditch as you could be in a world as small as Speranza. He was an only child. His parents were rich. His mother was an engineer and his father a professor of literature. They lived up the strut, in gravity too low for a child, leaving Jay alone with nannies and tutors. He was desperately lonely, though he says he did well enough. He kept a flag out for under-15s doing interesting searches, and when one of my more desperate ballet school queries triggered it,